Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome in. I hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday, and hope you've had a wonderful weekend thus far. Switch over here to the main screen. Hope everyone's doing good. Thank you so much for coming in for Let's Get Twisted episode 2. I was cleaning out my basement today and found a copy of TM4. Yo, that's massive, Lakers. Hell yeah, dude. I didn't check if it works, but hopefully it does. I hope so too. That's huge. Gotta love and keep a hold of those treasured old games, because eventually one day, all those physical medias will be gone. We don't want that to happen. Yo, Kohala, welcome in, dude. Good to see you. How you doing? It's good to see everybody. Striker and Jacob, welcome on the YouTube side. Good to see you, man. Yo, what up, Brody? Welcome in. Planning on firing up some TM2 on the PS1 tonight. This is my pregame. Let's go, dude. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it doesn't kick your ass too much like it always does for me. And I hope you're doing well. Doom Daddy, good to see you as well, buddy. How you doing? Welcome. Episode 2. So today we have a couple topics in mind. But I do want to give one little quick shout out for next week. I'm going to make an announcement in the Discord and I think on the community tab on YouTube as well. So people who sadly can't make it to today's stream, they'll be aware of it. Next Saturday for Let's Get Twisted, I'm going to be interviewing Jim Buck, the legend himself from Twist Metal 4, Twist Metal 3, 99 Studios. He'll be on the podcast, on the show with me. And I think he's going to be on webcam as well, so it should be a pretty good time.
Twitch follower.
I'm excited to see how it goes. He'll be answering my questions as well as, of course, your questions in the chat. So if you want to ask him questions, talk to Jim Buck live, this will be the place to do it next Saturday. So I hope to see you guys there. And Brody, thank you for that follow as well, man. I appreciate that. Hell yeah, dude. Gonzalo, welcome in. How you doing? Good to see you. And yeah, so I'm very excited for that. That'll be our first ever guest on the show. And then, of course, that'll open it up to having more in the future. I would love to have some of my Twisted Boys on the show. Kohalo, Drew. Just be a really good time having some other people on here, co-host it up every now and then, and just see how it goes, see if people end up really enjoying this. And yeah, what up, Striker? Good to see you as well, man. Welcome. Nick is moving on up. I don't know about that, Chief. I don't know, but I appreciate it. I'm just curious to see how this show ends up being. If it ends up growing, or who knows, if it ends up not doing too well and people don't really care about it, then not the end of the world. I'm not going to have a crash out and be like, I'm done streaming. No, I probably just go back to my regular streams on Saturdays, but that'll, be down the road when we're done testing, in the testing phases, so to speak. And speaking of testing phases, so one thing that ended up changing on the YouTube side, if you guys may have noticed, is I made a post about it the other day asking you for your feedback. And by the way, thank you all, everybody, for getting back to me on that. It meant the world giving me your feedback. And the thing I've been trying to figure out is what is the best course of action for YouTube streams in terms of the thumbnails and the titles for the streams. And one of the things that I'm trying to do right now is I'm going to give it another try this upcoming Monday, for that stream. Because tonight's stream, it's a little bit different. Obviously, I have a different thumbnail for the Let's Get Twisted streams. But for all of my weekly streams when I'm playing games, the way I look at it is it's kind of tough making a specific thumbnail for a specific game that I'm playing with a title. And then if I want to switch up that game through the stream, let's say, I don't know, the game just isn't fun, or I'm not having a good time, or whatever the case may be, viewership is down, and I just feel like switching it up to try to get people to come in and, have a better time, whatever the case may be. It's really tough doing that when the thumbnail and the title on YouTube is static when you go live. So yes, I could go in and change the thumbnail halfway through the stream to a different game, but you can kind of understand that's a lot of work to do, where I'd have to make 2 separate thumbnails, or maybe 3, depending on, how many times I switch up the game or whatever. I don't want to have to do that. So I figured the best course of action, or actually it was Drew, our man Drew Desidue. He was talking to me and he came up with an idea saying, well, what if you just had a generic thumbnail for every stream, just saying, Nick is live or Nick Gaming, whatever you want to call it, and just change the title, to whatever you change the game to. And I said that makes a lot more sense to me. I don't know if it's going to work in terms of clicks, or getting people to come to the streams, but I figure it also adds a little bit more of a mystery to it. You don't know what you're going to get when you click on the stream now. because it's more of just a generic thumbnail. And yeah, most of you guys agreed, like, you know, try it out, see how it works. If it doesn't work, you can always, you know, take it away. It's not a big deal. And I totally agree. I think it's something we can test out. So we tried it out on Friday's stream. I'm going to try it out on Mondays, and we'll see how it goes from there. If I just don't feel like it's working well, or people just don't like it, I'll go back to my original, you know, the setup I was doing, where I was making a specific thumbnail for each stream, specific titles, all that stuff, and just keep going, you know, the way it happened. But this was just a way for me to get past that whole like stigma of, once I go live, I'm not allowed to change up my original idea, you know. And sometimes we've had issues where like we went live and the game didn't work properly that I thought, you know, and we ended up having to switch games anyway. And then it's like, well, I just wasted all my time making that thumbnail and that title, and people are going to click on the stream hoping for that game, and I'm not playing that game. So that, you know, this is hopefully going to bypass those type of situations, but it's all in testing. Welcome in, Pedro. Good to see you, buddy. Ada, good to see you. Pancake, good to see you as well. And Travis, how you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Whatever game gone sexual with a super clickbaity picture. Well, that's the thing, is like, I talked about this in my previous video that just came out yesterday, as well as another video prior to that, where I just don't want to have to go down that route, you know, do those type of scummy things to get people to click on my videos or my streams. So maybe this is more of a better way of just, hey, I'm live, I'm a streamer, come check out the stream. If you like it, stick around. If you don't, you know, and it's all good. It's your choice. Had a weird dream last night where the mod team and the Twisted Boys went to Canada to beat up a murderer. Also, Kohala ended up doing a sick-ass drift after getting slammed by a car. I don't know why I remember that, but I do. That sounds kick-ass. We need to make that into a movie immediately. I will fund it. Purple, what's good? Good to see you as well. Brandon, good to see you as well, buddy. And yeah, I figured for this stream, you guys may have noticed from the first episode, we had kind of a chill playlist of audio. And now I have my music playing. So let me know, is the music too loud? This is obviously only for the Twitch side. On YouTube, or if you're watching the VOD, you're not going to hear the music. But on the Twitch side, I do have music playing. If you need me to turn it down, I definitely can, because I just have it set up the way I do for normal streams. But, you know, or if it's too crazy, if the music is too nuts out, you know, off the wall, I can always change it back to the other playlist too. I like the music. Awesome. Sounds good. Okay. Awesome. I appreciate the feedback. What's the other thing I was going to bring up? Oh, I also decided for these streams, just the Let's Go Twisted, no slot machine gaming. So I turned that off for tonight. It'll be back on Monday. Don't worry, it's coming back. But just for these streams, I'm not going to do the slot machine stuff. I still have all the other alerts enabled and all that stuff, but just the slot machines will not be a thing we'll be doing during these streams. Just FYI. Fuck, I know. But yeah, everything else is still enabled, of course. And also, speaking of the slot machines, speaking of gambling, I did add some new rewards that'll be added, you know, enabled on Monday. So be on the lookout for that, and I hope you guys will like the new awards you guys can win with the slot machine. But yeah, so this last week, we obviously had to skip an episode. This should technically be episode 3, but I had to skip last Saturday because me and the wife went down to North Carolina. We've been there like maybe 4 times now since we moved in 2020 to Virginia. So we're not very far from North Carolina, so it's not too bad of a drive. But, you know, we knew we were going to be there all day, and I didn't want to have to force us to be back by a certain time in order for me to start up a stream. So I just said, screw it, let's just skip a day, you know, skip a week, basically, and we'll come back today, and that's why we're here. But we went down to North Carolina to see the How to Train Your Dragon remake, I guess, or like, you know, live action remake. And then we met up with some people from Wade's community that we've never met in person. So that was really cool. Is, you know, it's always fun meeting new people, people that we've known for years online, but just never met up in person. So it was cool meeting them. And we went out to get some drinks, got some food, and just had a really good time. It was a lot of fun. I like the new stuff. Hell yeah. Appreciate that, Travis. X, good to see you. Generic White Mail, good to see you guys. Holiday, good to see you. You sound like you're close to me then.
Gamble your life to me. You already know what happens. But still, I don't judge. I'll enjoy the soul if you lose.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And yeah, we're on the East Coast in Virginia. So if you guys live around there, you know where we are. What was I? There was something I was reading, but I lost it for some reason. Twisted Saturday. Yes, let's get twisted, baby, for Saturdays. But yeah, so this show, like I stated, is basically going to be a recap of the previous week, along with some like extra topics that I want to go over. They're not going to be super long or extra winded or anything like that. It's mostly going to be me talking about, like, you know, kind of my Q&A, right? So if you guys ever have questions or anything you want to get more down to the nitty gritty or whatever, you can ask here and we'll go over it live on stream. And then, of course, we'll have guests from time to time that I'll be interviewing during these streams. And I think those are going to be the main fun parts of this kind of show. The only thing is just I didn't want to consider it just a interview show, because I'm not going to always have people to interview, right? That should be impossible. So that's why I want it to be a part of it, but it's not the main format, right? The main format is this, just chatting, hanging out, and going over these certain topics that I get throughout the week. I live in Southwest Virginia. Do you, Travis? Let's go, man. Yeah, like I lived in Minnesota my whole life. I grew up there and never lived out of the state. I've always been up in the northern hemisphere, basically. And coming over here to the East Coast has been a huge culture shift in a lot of ways, because it's more southern in a lot of ways, but also just the weather and the feeling of the air and everything is so much drastically different that it's taken some getting used to. It took a couple good years, but now that I've been here as long as I have, it's one of those things where I kind of worry about going, if I ever go back to Minnesota, especially to visit, it's just like, it's going to be a culture shock again going back there, because it's just such a different feeling, like such a different atmosphere. And yeah, so there's things I like a lot here, and there's things I like a lot back home in Minnesota, but, you know, you can't have the best of both worlds. Sadly, that'd be really awesome if you could, but, you know, both have their negatives and positives. Now I understand this stream. Yes, yeah. So we're not playing any games or anything on these Saturdays. It's really just a talk show. And then, like I said, from time to time, we'll have guests. Like next weekend, we're going to have Jim Buck on here from 99 Studios. So we'll be answering, you know, he'll be answering questions about TM3's development, TM4's development, and really anything that I may have. I already have a list of like over 20 questions that I have for him. And then I told him that towards the end of the stream, I'll just open the chat basically to you guys asking questions if you have any specific ones that I didn't ask him. And then he'll answer your guys' questions and stuff too. So it should be a pretty good time. And if all goes well, you know, that will be a future kind of thing for the stream as well. I'll have more people will be interviewing and doing all that through this kind of show, this show format, I should say. My cousin lives in Minnesota. I live in Northeast Florida. I've been to Minnesota twice. I like the weather there. I'm assuming, Wacko, did you go during like the summer, or what time of year did you go to Minnesota? I'm curious. Because anybody that goes there in the winter, like they're like, I'm never coming back. If you go there in the winter or like the spring, it's not a good time. But that's awesome, man. I've been to Florida once. Beautiful state. I don't know if I could ever live there, just because I'm horrified of like hurricanes and a lot of the ocean. So I would like to visit there again, but I don't know if I'd live there. It was in the summer. Yeah, beautiful summers in Minnesota. There's like no humidity. It's very dry, but it's not too hot. It's like, I think the hottest it gets is like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So pretty tolerable. And the only downside is just that it just doesn't last long enough. You get to like September, October, no, I say October, you get to like October, and it starts getting crisp outside, down to the 40s at night, and it gets kind of cold. And then November, December, it starts snowing. And then December, like late December on Christmas is when it starts getting cold, like below zero cold. And then from January to late March, usually it's like negatives, like every other day. Very cold, very windy, very snowy. But, you know, I was so used to it. I didn't know anything else. You know, I didn't know not everybody lived like that or dealt with it. So you get used to it for sure. But if you're from somewhere like Florida and you go in the winter, it is deadly. It is actually horrible. I like to ask him the whole Rallycross TM3 thing. Yes, yeah, I have a lot of questions about that I'll be asking him to get his take on things. And, we're going to talk about even the future of like Chat GPT with coding and stuff like that. I'm really curious to hear his insight on that, because stuff, a lot of people don't think about it in the terms of somebody who like him grew up in an age where you had to do everything by hand and you had to create code by yourself. So now you have Chat GPT to do everything for you for the most part. I'm really curious to hear his thoughts on that kind of stuff, to see how that all goes. War Hero in Southwest, welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a good night. Helio as well, welcome in. Saw North Carolina mentioned, had to pop in. Yes, yeah, we went down to North Carolina last weekend on Saturday. That's why we missed an episode of the show, sadly. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Really great time. Went down there to meet some people for the first time from Wade's community. Great people. And then we ended up seeing a movie. We saw the How to Train Your Dragon, and it was pretty good. I mean, I like the animation more, but I feel like that's a given. Like, it's kind of impossible to make a live action better than an animated movie, in my opinion. But still very good. I'd recommend it if you like the animation. You're not going to hate the movie. JD, welcome in. How you doing? As a Floridian, not originally, but more than half of my life now, the best part of winter is when I've been snowed in when I was out west, when I was still trucking. So the best part of winter is when you got snowed in. So you actually enjoyed that. Is that what you're saying to me right now? And yeah, as a Floridian, I mean, I couldn't imagine going from Florida to Minnesota weather. Like, that'd be such a culture shock. I don't know if I would have survived personally. It's kind of like me coming here and dealing with the summers, like the heat, and not even that, but next week here, apparently it's supposed to be world record highs in terms of heat. I'm not looking forward to it. The humidity and the heat is just god awful. Do we know if Jim is still in the gaming industry? He is. Yes, he's still in the gaming industry. He just talked to me today about it. He said he's even looking at possibly going back and working with an old group of people that he used to work with games. So, yeah. Good news, Pro Skater 4 made it to my house today. Unfortunately, Pro Skater 3 is in the area, but didn't get processed fast enough, so I got to wait till Monday. I hate that. But hey, at least you got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Go to game. Hope you enjoy it, dude. Snow is great, and we get like a fourth of an inch a decade. Wait, I'm surprised Florida gets snow at all. I didn't even know that was possible. You live in Georgia. What's up, Charlie? Except this last wacky winter, we got a few inches. I grew up in Georgia, deep in the woods. I've never been in Georgia. I've maybe driven through there, but I don't remember it at all. I would have been a little kid, so I wasn't driving. My parents were. But yeah, I would like to visit Florida again. We're actually talking about visiting Georgia soon. We just have to make the plans and get the hotel set up and all that. Because, yeah, she loves Savannah, Georgia. I've never been to anything in Georgia, but I am curious to check it out. Not sure how many of your community are from North Carolina, but next time you're in, let me know. I will do War Hero. Hell yeah. Love to meet up with you guys. I still got to meet up with Trix. He lives in North Carolina as well, but he's like South North Carolina. So it would have been a pretty big drive for him to come meet up with us when we were there. So we're in talks and maybe meeting up next time we go down there. I'm so worried if so many songs are going to be cut from 3 and 4 remake. Oh, with Tony Hawk. I don't know. I mean, I don't have my hopes very high, and the main reason is just because of the whole fact that they removed like 90% of the career from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Blows my mind. They just made it a 2-minute timer. I don't know what thought process that is. Why make a remake in, why 20 years later you make a remake of a game with a new engine, you remake the game basically, but then you cut content. You make it a worse, more inferior product. I don't get it. It's just, such a weird mentality. Georgia countryside is nice. The cities are kind of bad. Don't get caught speeding by GSP. They love to write speeding tickets. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I only speed in places I know. Like, I'm very cautious when I'm driving, especially in places I'm not used to. I live in South Georgia, so I'm biased, but I love it here except summer. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people. They love the southern states until it's summer. Which sucks, because summer used to be my favorite time of the year because of what I said earlier about Minnesota, where summer is the best weather, easily in the state.
Another one.
I get why people don't like it, though.
Be more subscribers.
Mark!
I promise you that.
Thank you, my man.
Sup, homie?
What up?
13 months. How lucky that I stumbled on your channel all that time ago.
Holy Stromboli, 13 months, Mock. My man. And I'm lucky that you stumbled upon us as well. I truly appreciate the love. Thank you so much for the 13 months. Absolute honor to have you a part of our community. And you give so much love every single day. You're just a fucking legend, bro. Thank you so much. And welcome in, by the way. Hope you're having a great Saturday. Moose, good to see you as well. Welcome in. I was just talking about, before you guys got here, that next Saturday, we're going to be interviewing Jim Buck on this show. And it's going to be a great time. I hope to see you all there. Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. Or Let's Get Twisted, episode 3. And I'm kind of deciding right now, like, I'm not going to decide it right now. I still gotta, this is still in its testing phases. I'm going to see how next Saturday goes. And of course, how the rest of today goes with this show. But it might be, maybe one day it will just turn into a thing where I'll only do it when I have a guest to interview. You know, where it won't be every Saturday will be the show. It'll just be whenever I have time or like have a guest to interview kind of thing. So we'll see. You know, it just all depends, really. It just all depends. If people don't enjoy it, if it doesn't feel like it's growing, if it feels like I don't have enough to talk about during these kind of streams, then I'm just going to game, right? I'm just going to go back to what I was doing because I enjoy that. I know you guys enjoy it. So we'll just, you know, it's all just a wing and a prayer. It's all just testing. A lot of people don't really realize a lot of content creation literally is just throwing yourself out there and hoping for the best. You might have people who are very good at hiding that, and they're very sure of themselves. They make it, you know, apparent that they know what they're doing, but in reality, they have no idea. None of us do. You'd be lying if a content creator came out with a video or a stream and they were saying to your face, like, I know exactly what it is to get the algorithm to work in my favor. I know exactly what it is that I need to do to get views and to get blah, 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 blah. They're lying. They're 100% lying to you. That's why I don't like those, like, there's all these videos on YouTube of how to get viewers quick or like how to get famous in like one day kind of thing. And, you know, I made a video giving tips and tricks on what to do as a content creator, but I always make it apparent that none of this is foolproof. None of it is going to work 100% of the time. It's all up to the user, and a lot of it's luck based. So I always laugh at those kind of videos where people are like, you know, watch this video and in 5 steps you can become a famous YouTuber. And it's just so cringe because, you know, so many kids are going to fall for that, you know, or people, maybe not even kids, just people who want views and they just want to see what are these tips and tricks that I can use at my disposal. So I don't blame the people clicking on the video, but I blame the person making the video because there's nobody out there that knows how to get famous. There's nobody out there that knows how to get successful as a content creator. You just have to give it a try. A wing and a prayer is the best way to look at it. Mostly luck and making the algorithm happy. Yes. And I'm not going to say it's all luck because that also would just not be, that's just not true. There's definite, like, a lot of work that's involved, a lot of dedication. And you have to be entertaining. If you're not entertaining, you don't have the drive for it. Those are 2 big things, you know, that would lead to no success. But I know a lot of people on the other side of the coin that I know a ton of people who are super fucking entertaining. They have a huge drive for making videos and streaming and blah, blah, blah. And they don't go anywhere. They don't get views. Nobody shows up. Nobody finds their stuff. But I don't blame them. It's not their fault. You know, you could always say, well, they could maybe network better, you know, or they could self-promote themselves somewhere. Sure. But in reality, I do believe that like at least 60%, if not 70% of getting success is luck based. And I will stand by that. And there might be people watching this right now. There might be people watching the VOD. They're like, this guy's an idiot. You know, I have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 plus subscribers right now. I've made it. And it was not luck based. It was just pure hard work. And they're just lying to themselves. It's like, yeah, hard work is a part of it. That is true. That's why I didn't say 100% of it's luck. There is a huge chunk of it that is dedication, hard work, and, you know, perseverance, all that stuff. But a big chunk of it is luck. And I feel like those people, those videos are predatory. Exactly. I just feel like the people who genuinely believe that, even if they're trying to tell it to themselves that it wasn't luck that got them to where they are today, they're lying to themselves, and it's sad. But, you know, hard work improves your odds. Very true. Very true. Yes. Like, you know, you can have people who just 100% luck based, right? That don't even try. They go live one day and all of a sudden they randomly get rated by fucking Ninja or somebody huge, and they get a lot of people following, and then they're made. They're made for life. That can happen, but nobody should go into it with that hope. That's just because it's a 1 in a billion, man. It's like winning the lottery. It's it's like it can happen, yeah, but is it going to happen to you? Good luck. Hard work and consistency help, but there are no guarantees. Facts, exactly. Sometimes I'm glad I got out of streaming back in the day when it was just still more of a fun hobby than a job. I wouldn't be able to deal with the mental part of that. The hardest thing, I think, when it comes to the mental, like, I don't know, just like the mental health of it all, being a content creator, a lot of it is trying to silence that voice in the back of your head that's saying you're doing something wrong, because 90% of the time you're doing everything right. And you just have to understand that there's the luck today is just not on your side, is one. Maybe the algorithm is being a dick to you, which is not your fault again. And you just got to keep trying. You just got to keep pushing, keep going, no matter how, there's days I have every now and then, like maybe once a month, I'll have a really bad day where I don't get to the point where I feel like quitting altogether or just like giving up on everything. But there's definite days where you're just sitting there and you're like, why would I upload this video? Why would I go live right now? Because no one's going to be there. No one's going to care. Obviously, though, that's a lie. Like, the way I look at it, and I always say it, if you have at least one person that's there to support, you have a supporter, right? There's always somebody that. So when you're saying no one's going to show up, no one's going to be there, you're lying to yourself. It's just that voice in the back of your head lying to you. And that is the hardest thing to jump over. That's the hardest hurdle to get past. And I know a lot of people probably watching this right now are in the same, or have been in that same spot where they feel that way, or they say that sentence to themselves and they believe it. And it's sad because any of us, if any of you said that to me about yourself, I would immediately be like, you're lying. Like, that's wrong. You have supporters. We love you. Keep doing that. Right. And I'd be telling the truth. You're lying. But in your own mind, you feel like it's the opposite. And I know so many people who deal with that same kind of stuff, and it sucks. And I get it. I've been there many times. Burnout is a real thing. But that is easily the hardest part, I think, of being a content creator, is always trying to push forward, even if your mind is saying, like, it's not worth it kind of thing. That's the hardest thing, by far. I win even if I lose. If I had fun, I had fun. Yeah, exactly. About to cook and eat. I'll be back soon. Sounds good, Doc. Enjoy your noms, my man. That defeatist attitude helps nothing. Exactly. That is facts. It's so easy to go from a big viewership day to a low viewership and put that on yourself, like you messed up. But I've never seen a bad Nick stream in my life. And I truly appreciate that, Koala. And it's a very good point. I mean, I was just watching a video the other day from, if you guys don't know him, his name is Tim the Tapman. He's one of the first streamers I ever watched or followed on any platform. I've been watching his content for well over probably 8 years at this point, maybe 10 years now. And the reason I followed him, and I still follow him to this day, is even though I'm not like huge into Call of Duty anymore or the games that he plays anymore, I still watch his streams and respect him because he's a really down to earth guy. He's just a dude, right? He doesn't put on a show. He doesn't overreact for clicks or whatever, and I really respect that for him. But he made a video the other day where it was taken from a stream of his, where somebody asked in chat, they were like, what do you do to get over that, like, worrying about the numbers as a streamer? Like, what do you get to get? They said, I'm a small creator, and I have a day, like Kohala was saying, where I had a really good viewership, and then the next day I had shit viewership. How do you get past that hump of, like, I feel like I'm just failing, right? And he made a really good point saying, no matter how big you get, you're always going to feel that way. You're always going to worry about the views, or you're always going to worry about the analytics. And that's just part of being a content creator. He said, I went from getting, what did he say? It was like, I had 30,000 people watching when I was doing this Marvel Rivals, tournament stream for 5 days straight. It was like 30,000 people every stream. And then he said, after those 5 days, it went down to 10,000 people and now 8,000 people per stream. And he said, obviously 8,000 people is a lot of fucking people watching a stream. And he's very grateful for that. Just like, obviously, we would all be grateful for that. But you look at 8,000 versus 30,000, that's a really big gap, right? And just remove the zeros from that. You go from 8 people, 8 viewers to 30 viewers. That's still a big gap, right? It's a big gap. So no matter how big you get, you're always going to have those instances. You're going to have those weeks where it's just down. It's always a roller coaster. It's never going to be steady. And that's the second probably biggest thing you got to hurdle as a content creator. You have to just ride the wave. You're going to have bad weeks. You're going to have bad months. But you can always climb back up. You can always get back up to where you were and hopefully get bigger than that. It's just perseverance and getting that bad voice out of your head. This community is great. No one here should be down on themselves. I agree 1,000,000% X. Yes. One of my artist friends is constantly burnt out, worried about followers on Twitter and Blue Sky. And yeah,
you're a good man, Nick. Oh shit, I'm talking about myself. Existential crisis. But for real though, you're great.
No you, Mock. No you. And thank you for the 100 biddies as well. Appreciate that so much, homie. And again for the kind words. Yeah, there's definite days where even if people are telling you to your face, like, you're doing good, you're doing fine, you still tell yourself, like, no, I'm not. And it's just getting over that yourself is the hardest thing. But I always am able to do it, and I'm very thankful for that. But I have friends that aren't able to do that. And you basically just have to keep telling them, like, yeah, you have to keep reminding them over and over again. And then they finally get over that hump, and it's awesome, and you feel great. And they feel great. But yeah, that's the hardest thing, I think, is to love yourself, basically. That's the hardest thing. And then the second hardest is what I just brought up, So there's a lot of ups and downs to it. It's just, you got to ride the roller coaster. You got to deal with the ups and downs. If you're not someone who can deal with the downs, it's probably not a good profession for you, sadly. It's the truth of the matter. You might be able to get past it, but it's going to be twice as hard for you, and that's not really fair to you. So your mind is your biggest enemy. Yes, exactly. No matter what it is, part of life in general is those ups and downs. Just got to keep on keeping on. Exactly, JD, exactly. Yeah, and 100%, I'm not saying it's just for streamers or just for content creators. It is 100% everybody. I mean, life in general, just ups and downs, it's the same thing. But I just feel like it's exponentially, like, heightened if that is your career, is you're hoping on, the next big click, the next big, I don't know, like, big break, I guess, right? Never worry about the numbers. The content will carry itself, and if it's good enough. Thank you so much, Scott. Welcome in. And yes, I agreed. Yeah, you can. The thing is, though, that sucks, and this is why I stand by my statement that at least 60% of getting success out there is luck based because of the algorithm. So you can have the best content on the site. You can have the best YouTube videos on the planet. You can be the best streamer on the planet, the most entertaining streamer on the planet, but you may never get found, and that's all because of the algorithms. Now, there's obviously, like I said, that's why I said it's not 100%, it's 60%. That 40%, the other part of it, is all about networking properly and trying to not put everything onto one platform. If you can get yourself out there and stream to multiple platforms or make YouTube videos alongside streaming or whatever you can do to get yourself out there to hopefully get more eyes on your content, that is what you need to do. And that's where that 40% comes into play. But again, the other 60% is still luck based on if that ends up working out and if people find your stuff. It sucks, but it does work out. You just got to keep pushing, and eventually it will happen. Hey, Twitch, welcome in. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I was lurking at your stream today when I was getting some work done myself, and it was a hoot and a holler, to say the least. I hope you're having a great day. How are you doing? Can we get a shout out for Twitch OMFG in chat, please? Go give her a follow if you can. She just got back into streaming. I believe she took like a 6-month break, roughly. I can't remember what Elle told me when we were meeting up. But I'm glad to have you back on the Twitch side. It's awesome to see you streaming again. And it looks like you have a lot of fun. You got a lot of fans out there, a lot of people that love you. And yeah, keep with it. Yeah, 6 months. Yeah. So yeah, keep with it. You're gonna get Twitch partner in no time. I was honestly surprised you weren't already. And that's obviously a compliment. Don't take it as a diss. So you will get there. You will get to partner very, very soon. Just keep at it, and I'll be there watching because you're awesome. Thank you for coming through.
Dice from the real.
Yeah, let's go, Mock. Thank you for that
You're
gifted sub.
Hanging here with your homies.
Woo!
Welcome, subscriber.
Let's go. Thank you for that gifted sub to Twitch. Yes, welcome to the Vicarious crowd. Enjoy your emotes in chat and ad-free viewing. I noticed Twitch lately has really cracked down on the ads like crazy. So hopefully no more ads for you there. But yes, welcome in, welcome in. What up, host? Good to see you. Mortal Kombat, good to see you as well. Did you see the Mr. Beast drama with him promoting AI to make thumbnails? No, I didn't actually. I don't follow anything Mr. Beast, to be honest. But, I mean, if he's trying to say we need to use AI to make thumbnails, that's cringe. And I don't agree. Twitch loves their ads, yes. I was watching a video the other day about that, where like about advertisements on Twitch and what they can do to improve that and to help the whole like both sides of the field. Because there's people that like having ads on stream because you do make a kickback of it. You know, we do make some money from ad revenue, and I get that. But there's people on the other side of the fence like me where I would just rather turn them off completely to let anybody watch my stream without ads interrupting it. There's just no way to do that. We don't have the option. So I was watching a video, I think it was Nutty was the guy that he was talking about it, where he was saying one way that Twitch could actually get past that and help with their ad revenue issue is add ways where we can upload content to Twitch that's way easier for people to see. If you guys didn't know, we actually are able to upload videos to Twitch, but it's just extremely hard to find. Like it's just not a cohesive way to do it. And there's a limit to how much storage you can have on your account. So it's just not worth it. So he was saying if Twitch would just implement a way for offline content to be a thing on Twitch where people could go to my channel when I'm not streaming and there would be content to be had where you guys could watch stuff, that's where the ads could play, where there could be ads on the offline content. Then they wouldn't have to have ads during live streams. And I agree with that. I think that'd be such a better way for Twitch to go about it, and also to compete better with YouTube. But who knows? Maybe they are thinking about that. I hope they are, because that'd be huge. Or at least give us the option. Be like, hey, I want to turn off stream, or I want to turn off ads on my live streams, but leave ads on for offline content, like for clips or whatever. I think that'd be smart. Like clips are probably the best thing for offline content right now for Twitch, because you can just share clips around and they're fun. And maybe if they had an ad play after a clip plays, there you go. There's ad revenue. So I just don't know why they haven't thought about that. I think that'd be huge. I really do. How do I say your name? Julina, thank you so much. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good night. How you doing? That's one ad that Twitch loves to push. It has nothing to do with me, so I hope they are more personalized in the future. That's another good point. Yeah. Make ads make sense, right? I still think ads don't exist. Yeah, if you're subbed to everybody, you'll never see them. Mr. Beast quoted, I hired 1,000 artists to draw art for me to feed into a machine to make my future thumbnails. Oh my God. It would not surprise me that's actually what he said. I'm here to make sure no one gets ads. Fuck them ads. Mock the legend. Thank you so much, my man. All right. What's up? We're just chatting. We're just talking, my man. What's up with you? If someone wants more views, then ask Calypso and a wish, but be careful with the words you use. Great job, Nick. Thank you for making content about Twisted Metal. Of course, Hector. Thank you for being here, man. Much love. And yeah, if you guys missed the announcement at the beginning of the stream today, next Saturday, I'm going to be interviewing Jim Buck. He used to work with 99 Studios, made TM3 and 4, if you guys didn't know. And yeah, we're going to be asking him all of the nitty-gritty questions of his development time with Sony and with those games. So make sure not to miss it. It should be a really good time. I'll make an announcement, of course, too, after stream. So people, will be aware of that in case they don't make it to the stream today. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So my other topic I wanted to get into real quick. Let me get a drink of water before I jump into this one. Backbreaking book. I'm going to ask him that straight to his face. Have you ever heard that before? It's a Brazilian name. I'm good. How about you guys? Glad to hear it, dude. We have a lot of friends from Brazil here. We love our Brazilian friends. Happy to have you in here. Mark with a hydrate again. All right. Not much is hitting the heat wave in Pittsburgh. I feel you, bro. I'm feeling that heat wave right over here in Virginia. It sucks. But yeah, so I made a video recently about being done with YouTube. A lot of people have been confused about it, and a lot of people have been kind of like not mad at me per se, but they've been like, "But you're still here. You're still streaming to YouTube. You're still here, whatever." The reason I made the video was not just because I wanted to clickbait people and just be like, you know, oh, I'm not actually leaving. No, genuinely, there's a lot of things that piss me off about YouTube and making content on there. And we kind of talked about it already in the stream. I'm not going to get back into beating dead horse there, but you know, it's just the whole algorithm thing right now. It's such a bitter taste in my mouth. Videos are so random if they do well or if they do bad. And I just don't like that gambling aspect anymore of like wasting my time on spending hours and hours and hours editing and, you know, creating a script, recording, all that stuff just to have it do nothing. It just doesn't feel fulfilling to me. Where when I go live, yeah, there's going to be live streams that just shit the bed with viewers. You know, there's not going to be as many people sometimes, but I can always switch it up on the fly too. I can always change the game or do something else I know will bring more people in, or as long as I'm having fun, right? And don't get me wrong, making videos can be fun, but I talked to Drew about this the other day where we both agree editing is the best part of making a video. A lot of people might disagree with that if you're a content creator, but editing is where we have the most fun. I just like chilling and adding effects and messing around and making it look the way I want it to look. But even though that's the best part, you put the video out there and then you're like, now what, right? You just kind of wait and hope. Where like when I'm streaming, you're getting that instant gratification of people saying this is good or this is bad. So you know what's working, what's not, and you can kind of, you know, change stuff on the fly. And when I'm not streaming, I can also just edit, right? I can edit my stream to add more layers and add more things to redeem and make them more interesting next time I go live. And I think that stuff's a really fun process of streaming. I feel like a lot of streamers don't know about that or don't care about it, and they end up not being successful because of it. And I feel like, yes, you can be entertaining with just playing a game and going live. That is 100% true. But I also feel like a lot of people would benefit by taking more time into making their stream entertaining, making their stream more interactive or adding things to the stream to make it more entertaining to watch. And a lot of that doesn't have to necessarily just do with your personality. A lot of that can just do with tech stuff, like having things flash up on screen or things that the audience can interact with. And I think that's really important. So, you know, I love that about streaming and that aspect of it. That's why all of my personal like energy and thought process and stuff has been going into streaming lately and more than YouTube videos. So yeah, that's the reason I made the video. It's like I'm not necessarily done completely with YouTube videos, but it's just not something that's in my forte right now or in my foresight, I guess. And I just hope people can understand that. You know, I'm pretty sure I lost a ton of subscribers because of it, because people were like, I'm only here for the videos, I don't care about the streams. And I get that. I don't blame anybody for not caring about the streams. But this is where I feel like I shine. I have the most fun with it. And I just want more people to give them a try if they haven't already. I guess this is the final line. Yo, Muggin, good to see you again, man. Last time I talked to Jim, he had a list of all the passwords for Twist Metal 4. I'm pretty sure he still does. Yeah, he's got a ton of that like behind the scenes stuff that I'm really curious to see what he brings up next Saturday. Adding stuff to stream is so much fun. You can add so much interactivity and it changes everything. 1,000,000%. And yeah, I mean, go check out her stream. You'll know exactly what she's talking about. Like there's just so many things you can be creative with that people just, there's so many streamers out there where I know that they can be entertaining and I know they can be a lot of fun, but they don't go out of their way. They don't go out of their way to make it interesting or fun. Right? Like they just say, I'm just gonna go live today and play a game and I'm gonna make it. And it's like, you remember that 60-40 split I just talked about? You have the 60% luck and the 40% of hard work. Well, now it's like an 80-20 split. It's like maybe even a 90-10 split. 90% luck, 10% of that work, right? Because you're not putting that work in to get people to stick around and have fun. So, and that's why I am always changing stuff up and asking you guys for ideas and like, should I do this or should I do that? Because I like to experiment and try different things. I know it annoys a lot of people. I've gotten feedback about it. And again, I respect all feedback, unless it's just a straight insult. Like, you should change your hair, you're ugly. You know, like that's not really feedback. It's more just like, okay, fuck you, buddy. But I have had genuine feedback from people where it's like, don't overthink it. Like, just do it. And I'm like, you're right. You know, you're right. Why am I asking? I should just fucking do it and see what happens. So that's I'm trying to get better about that because I don't like asking people I don't like putting people on that position of like telling me what I need to do. I should just do it. And then if it doesn't work, whatever, I tried it, right? Yo, Puck, how's it going, buddy? Sounds like
please.
It's been an hour. We haven't had a donation. Please tip me, please. Ugly ass. Don't listen to him. Sounds good. Sounds like Dark Side Phil. Yeah, literally, that was the joke from that, where that came from. So yeah, DSP be trash. I don't want to trash him. Yeah, other content creators, I guess. I don't understand it personally. I don't get it. Why people support people like that. But that's beyond me. But I do find it funny. The song appeared in NASCAR Thunder 2004. Oh yeah, Motograder. Yeah. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. I am. Yeah, it's been a good day. We've been chilling. Lords of the Fallen is kicking my ass. What's Lords of the Fallen? I don't know what that is. I'm trying to think what else I was talking about. Yeah, I brought up at the beginning of the stream about the thumbnail thing. You know, that was kind of what I was getting at. Was that recently I started
am Calypso,
yo,
and I thank you for
mail.
supporting Nick in this wonderfully twisted community.
Thank you so much for that gifted membership on the YouTube side. To Yamil, welcome to the Vicarious Scout, courtesy of Generic White Mail. Thank you so much, my man. Can we get some love and chat for him? That's huge. It's a Souls-like game. Oh, okay, Lords of the Fallen. I will look that up. I have never heard of it, and I'm very bad at Souls-like, but I'll definitely check it out. It sounds cool. Thank you again for the love, dude. Most would just experiment with things and not keep their community updated. Your thorough and thoughtful explanations and attempts for genuine feedback is appreciated by most of us, brother. Thank you so much, Koalo, dude. I appreciate the kind words on that. And it is one of those things I try my best to make it make sense when I'm asking, for feedback, or like, should I do this or should I do that? I try to make it not sound complicated or confusing. But there is, again, that like little voice in the back of my head that's always kind of like, why? They're not going to care. They don't care. You're asking too many questions. You're changing things too often. They're going to start leaving. They're going to get mad.
From the rear view mirror.
Wario, thank you guys.
With your homies.
Let's go.
Welcome, subscriber.
Thank you for that gifted sub to Muggin. Welcome to the Vicarious crowd. Appreciate you so much, guys. Holy crap. Wario with 140 gifted subs in the channel. Legend, bro. Absolute legend. But you already knew that, but it's true. I think finding someone that chats really likes, I think finding someone or something that chat really likes or enjoys and adding it can really change how your chat behaves. Whether it is a silly thing you said or done or something they showed interest in, it makes chat feel included. And sometimes things won't stick, but that's okay. It's better to try it and see what happens than to let the moment go. 100% agreed. 100%. That is facts. And I've learned that over this past year. I mean, before this past year, before 2024, when I streamed, I just would do what I said earlier. I would just go live and play games. I didn't really do anything to add anything extra to my stream other than alerts that would pop up when someone did something. But no one ever did anything because why would they, right? There was no reason for somebody to support or to stick around because I was just a regular guy playing video games. And a lot of people don't realize that. It's like, yeah, you can be a nice guy, you can be a nice person and play games, and you can be really good at the game, and that might draw some people in. But people, whether you want to admit it or not, as a viewer, you are here to be entertained. That is facts. Like, a lot of you are diehard, ride or die with me, and I love you for that. You might be here no matter what. Whether you're bored to tears or you're having a great time, you're always here lurking or chatting, whatever you're doing, and I thank you for that, and you know who you are. But to get those extra eyes on the stream or to have more people show up and to stick around, they want to be entertained. You're going to Twitch, you're going to YouTube to be entertained, right? That's the whole thing of content is you want to I don't know, like I guess just absorb as much of that content as possible and be entertained. And I'm sorry, but just going live and playing a game normally is not entertaining. It's just not. So that's why you got to continuously talk and have conversation with yourself, even if no one's there. Talk about what you're doing, make jokes about the situation, or like I stated, add stuff to your stream to make it interactive. Have something to keep people and then their ADHD happy, because a lot of people have ADHD, and you gotta try to get as many people as possible to have a good time and have fun. And yeah, having those things that people can just grasp at and see and interact with really, really helps. And I think makes the live stream just an overall better experience and more of an entertaining experience for everybody involved. And even myself, I mean, even as the streamer, like I'm not the one doing the redeems or interacting with that stuff, but just watching you guys do it is entertaining for me. So it's kind of a two-way street. It's going both ways. Like you guys will redeem funny shit like the AIs with Tangia or whatever, and it comes back to me and it gives me energy, it makes me laugh, and it keeps it going. So that is also a huge part of it, where people don't really, a lot of people just go live and they don't realize that if you don't have that stuff, you're not getting that energy from chat. You're not giving that energy to chat, and it's no longer a two-way street. You're hoping it's a one-way street, which is not going to work out. It never does. Yo, Thumpa, welcome in, buddy. It's good to see you. How you doing? Potential energy. Yes, exactly. I'm always lurking. And yeah, like, you know, Carl says it best. The lurkers are the backbone of the communities. So even if you never talk in chat, even if you've never said a word here in chat, just know I love you, even if you're just watching. I mean, the fact that people take time out of their day, even to put up my stream in the background or whatever, maybe you listen just to audio, whatever the case may be, it does mean the world to me that people do that. That is huge. It really is. Because a lot of people like to think, or they tell themselves that like, oh, if I'm not talking in chat, he doesn't care about me, you know, or like he's going to forget about me. But I promise that'll never be the case. That'll never be the case. Now, obviously, if you've never said anything in your life and you've never been in chat before, I'm not going to know who you are. But maybe that's what you prefer. Some people do. They like to be hidden in the shadows. But even if I don't know who you are, I still respect you and I still appreciate you, you know, and I always will. Busy week, but doing all right. Glad to see y'all. Well, I'm glad you're doing okay, my man. And, you know, busy can be a good thing sometimes. Keeps your mind off of, you know, whatever thoughts you may be having, and time goes by really quickly. So I just hope you've been doing good. That they don't care voice is one of the things I fight hardest in life. It's a tough opponent, 100% JD. And yeah, you know, as a content creator, that's the biggest thing that I've had to jump over that hurdle so many times is like, they might not care, but I'm going to try anyway and just see what happens. And sometimes I'm right, where, you know, the viewership crashes, or a video I put out gets no views, or people hate it, whatever the case may be. And that's, but the truth of the matter is that is a 1 in 1,000 times situation. Like it's rare when I am correct, when I am right with that situation. So the other 999 times, it's fine and it's great, and I'm wrong, which is good. So that's why I just say put yourself out there anyway. You know, just do what you think is going to be fun. Do what you think is right, and it'll work out in your favor. Love the stream, hell yeah! Always good to see you, Wolfie, as well. Good to have you back, and always good to have you in the chat. And that's both for YouTube and Twitch. I mean, we stream on both platforms, and I'm not going to get into this super heavy because we talked about this last, I feel like 3 streams right now, and once again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but if you guys didn't see my previous video talking about YouTube, talking about Twitch, and they're cracking down recently on the TOS of multi-streaming, I'm just kind of at my wit's end with it. I'm just kind of like, whatever happens will happen, and we're just going to roll with it. So I am not going to abide by, and I'm saying this now on stream, I don't care. I'm not going to abide by their TOS where I'm not allowed to talk about my YouTube audience, or like congratulate or thank my YouTube audience for their support. If somebody comes in, like Whitemail earlier with a gifted membership, or somebody comes in and donates $5 on a super chat or more, according to Twitch, I am not allowed to say thank you for that super chat. Thank you for those members. I'm not allowed to show anything on stream saying that they did that. Why is that? You know, it's not taking away from the Twitch experience. It's not making my Twitch audience offended. It's not saying I love YouTube more than Twitch. It's just I like to congratulate, or thank, I should say is a better word. I like to thank my supporters because they deserve to be thanked, right? I'm not just going to ignore every super chat that comes through now, or like ignore every membership that comes through. That just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, if they want to ban me or suspend me for just being thankful, then fucking so be it. It'll happen. But
We love our boy, Nick. We'll follow you regardless of the platform. Also, has Wade recovered from the dreading hot dog diaster? You, had to be there.
I remember this now. I think she has. She it took her a long time, couple hours, but she has recovered. Thank you, Mock, for the 145 biddies as well. Appreciate you, homie. And yeah, like I said, I'm just rolling with the punches. I'm not backing down. I'm not leaving. Some people were asking, like, are you just going to leave Twitch? No, I'm not leaving. I'm not going to be done streaming. But if I get banned, if we get suspended, then I will. At that point, it's like, well, until you change your TOS and fuck off, I'm going to support the stream that's being nice to me, and letting me be who I am and letting me thank my supporters. So that's kind of my mindset with it. Got around to changing that Taxman placeholder image. There you go. Let's see. It'll backfire for Twitch, and then we'll find out when people leave. And that's what I'm saying is a lot of people already have. I've seen so many big creators already like threatening to leave Twitch because of this, and rightfully so. I mean, they deserve it, in my opinion. But it's one of those things where, like, I'm not just gonna straight up leave. Like, there's no point in me doing that, right? I just became partner. I'm very fucking proud of that. I think we all should be proud of that. Well, not proud of me, but just, like, as a community, we, like, you guys made this happen. I didn't do that. You guys do that. So, like, we're proud of that. But if I get banned for just being nice, if I get banned for supporting my community, that I'm not going to stand by it. And I think that's fair. Makes you want to multi-stream out of spite. You should. Honestly, Kohala, not even just out of spite, but just I think every single streamer should be multi-streaming. It is the major, like, benefit right now to all content creators, big or small. I've heard some arguments, and I even made the arguments myself when I first started multi-streaming because I didn't understand how it worked, but I do now. And the argument was, well, you're splitting your already small audience in half.
Another one. There will be more subscribers.
Get them buddies!
I promise you.
Let's
that.
go! Thank you for the resub with the Prime Gaming of 3 months. Welcome back, the Vicarious crowd. Good to have you, my man. Appreciate the continued love, and welcome back. Enjoy your emotes and your ad-free viewing. Let's go. Yes. Yeah, and Kohalo's back. That's right. Our boy, we missed him so much. We're proud of you regardless. Thank you so much, JD. All the love. If anything, multi-streaming can make that friendly rivalry pop up sometimes between the two. Try and outdo each other. Right, exactly. Well, oh yeah. So back to what I was saying is the argument that I've heard is just, oh, you're splitting up your already small audience. Why would you have them choose which platform to go to? That's just you're shooting yourself in the foot. No, it's the opposite. You are giving your audience options. You're giving people options, right? You have the option now to watch on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, wherever. Doesn't matter.
Bitch, let's get crazy.
Let's go. We hit a hype train. I did not expect that during this stream. Thank you so much, Twitch, with the 100 biddies as well. Thank you so much. Holy shit. Watching you while painting the basement got you on the big screen. Yo, let's go. I would totally watch paint dry with you any day. I hope it's going well. Facts. Only on YouTube. Exactly. So that's a big thing, right? You're not splitting your audience in two. People need to get rid of that thought in your mind. It's not a thing. It's a lie. You're telling yourself a lie. You are giving your audience options and also allowing different amounts of audience to find your channel. Yes, if you're just going live, like I said it earlier, and you're just playing games, you're probably not going to find any new audience members on either side. It's not going to work. You need to do extra work outside of streaming. You need to network. You need to watch other streamers, see what they do to get networking properly. You need to make videos on the side. You need TikTok, maybe whatever you want to do to get your eyes, get more eyes on your stream. But I do believe multi-streaming is the future. It's the way it should be. Give people the options that they want and let people watch wherever they want to watch. Don't force anybody to go to one platform or the other. I think that is the worst thing you can do. Because I've heard from so many people where they're like, especially on YouTube, like, back when I was switching over to Twitch and I was only doing Twitch streams, I remember so many people told me straight up, and they were not lying. They were honest. I'm never going to Twitch. I'm never going to make an account there. Fuck that platform. I'm never going there. And I thought at the time, okay, that's kind of harsh. You know, I think you're going to do it. You're going to try it because you're going to miss the streams. Nope, they never did. But I understand why. I get it, right? People have their place. People have where they feel comfortable. That maybe they just don't want to have a new account somewhere else they don't feel comfortable, or they know they're never going to use Twitch otherwise. So it's like, why would I make an account just to watch one guy stream? So I get it, right? I don't blame people for not coming over to Twitch when I did that. I get it. And I feel like everybody should kind of understand that in some degree, right? Don't force your audience to be in one place over the other. If somebody found you on one platform, let them stay on that platform. Now, that is, I should say this though, that like has nothing to do with if we got banned, right? I mean, if we got banned and I literally can't stream here, at that point, I mean, it's your choice if you want to come to YouTube and keep supporting me over there, but I'm not going to blame anybody for not doing that because it is what it is. But is managing multiple chats intimidating or overwhelming for you? How would you suggest managing that? Here, I think I can show you how this is set up. Let me see if it'll let me move this. Oh, why did I do this? Oh no. Hold on, let me refix on my Windows here. Whenever I move it, it just messes everything up. All right. Let's just do like that. Okay, so it's gonna look kind of glitchy. You're gonna see a million of the same screen when I switch over to this, but you'll understand what I'm talking about. Let's see, stream PC. There we go. So, oh, my face is in the way. Hold on, let me get rid of me real quick. All right. So I have the YouTube chat here. I have the Twitch chat over here. I have my events and then my viewers and stuff, Twitch, ad manager and all that stuff here. And then I have everything really scrunched up down here because I don't ever mess with this stuff. It's already all created, right? So I do have to watch two different chats separately. And I will say, yes, it is a little bit intimidating. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. When I first did it, it was very intimidating, trying to, keep track of two chats at once. But the more you do it, I mean, it took me maybe 3 tries, like 3 different streams. The more you do it, the easier it gets to manage to both chats. And if you're a good multitasker, it'll become second nature. But it is intimidating. I will say as well, there are apps out there that actually connect multiple chats together. I've seen a couple. I used to use one called Caster Labs. It's free. And it actually put Twitch and YouTube together in one chat, which was really nice. Made it a lot easier to follow. But the reason I stopped using it is just literally because it didn't show stuff like hype trains or pinned comments. Super chats didn't show up in chat. Stuff like that. I like having those elements, and you just can't do that unless you have the separated chats, which sucks. But, I think Dave Goodrich uses that for his streams. Yes, I showed him how to use that, so that's why he does. Thank you again, by the way, everybody, for getting the hype train. That was amazing. I appreciate that so much. But yeah, so he uses that because I showed him that, and it is nice having it together, but I miss having those extra features. So I'm just weird. So I do it the hard way. Twitch was super confusing to me at first, and I still don't know how to fully use it. I mean, if you've never used Twitch before and you came over to Twitch for my streams, for one, you're awesome. I love you. But second of all, yeah, it's a different experience entirely. It's way different than YouTube streaming by a mile. And I made a whole tweet thread about this yesterday, about all the shit that YouTube needs to fix for their live stream platform. If I get banned off Twitch and I have to go to YouTube streaming only, I mean, obviously I'll have people over there to support me. A lot of you will probably come over to YouTube as well, but I'd be so sad because there's so many things you can do on Twitch that you can't do on YouTube. The biggest thing for me is the music. I love being able to listen to my own music while streaming when you can't do that on YouTube at all. There's just no way possible to do it, which sucks. I also really like the chat system. Twitch kills it with chat. I mean, fucking the animated emotes are huge. The 7TV emotes are huge. I love all the different things you can do with Twitch chat. It's just so much better, cleaner, everything. Yeah, the modding is horrible on YouTube as well. I mean, my mods have so much power on Twitch. You can pin comments. You can at people directly. I'm trying to think. There's so many. You can start polls, predictions. You can do everything for me. I don't have to stop and do it myself. On YouTube, I have to do everything myself. I hate that. So yeah, the Nessie. We wouldn't have Nessie on the YouTube, man. It's so sad. So yeah, YouTube, I love you guys on YouTube. But there is a lot of things that are very rudimentary on YouTube that just need to be fixed. And I just hope to God one day they update that, because it really feels like you're stepping back in time streaming over there. Also, you can't raid people. Like let me just show you my thread that I made last night, because I'm going to go over all the features that I'm talking about here anyway. All right, so here, major features that YouTube needs right now. So I didn't realize you couldn't call out things happening in other chats or here as a platform either. I thought Twitch just didn't allow multiple chats to be seen on screen. Yeah, so they're against having other platforms chat on screen, other platforms alert on screen, or just basically talking about other platforms. Like, they're not going to be, I'm sure they're not going to be super strict on, like, if I just say, you know, oh, YouTube is awesome, I love YouTube, they're not going to ban me for that. But if I specifically say anything like, hey, you might get a better quality stream over there, I'm just, by the way, Twitch, I'm not being honest, I'm just saying, this is an example, then that might get you in trouble. But the biggest thing, what I've been told, is having the chats on your stream or the alerts. And like I said, I'm not getting rid of my chat on screen. I'm not getting rid of my alerts. I want YouTube to feel just as at home as Twitch. They're not better than Twitch, and Twitch is not better than YouTube. I want them to be equal, but Twitch doesn't want it that way for some reason. But anyway, so this is what I made last night, just like saying, you know, things that YouTube needs to add to their streams to make them better. So again, ability to add separate audio tracks with OBS so I can listen to my own music without DMCA strikes like you get on Twitch. That's a huge benefit to Twitch. Let us connect extensions like Tangia to add more life to the stream and give viewers more ways to support the streamer. Tangia is huge. You guys know it. It's what we use to do the AI questions and all that stuff. You know, that's a lot of fun. Give mods the ability to pin comments, make polls, make predictions, and direct reply to comments without using just an @ in chat. I love being able to directly click on a message in chat and it does like the little thread for replies. They need to bring that to YouTube. Animated emotes. Oops. Animated emotes, for the love of God. I don't know why they still have not added that. We should be able to raid other streamers when you end stream, like you can on Twitch. I feel like that's a huge part of the community of Twitch that YouTube just doesn't have. I really, really hope one day YouTube will add the ability to raid other live YouTubers. That's huge. They tried something for a while where technically you could do it, but the only way to raid somebody was if before you went live, you sent a request to another streamer that they had to accept. And then once your stream ended, then it would send people to that stream. So obviously way too convoluted, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you want raids to be a surprise, in my opinion. You don't want to just go to somebody and be like, hey man, can I raid you after the stream? Like, that's just stupid. So I hope they add proper rating. That'd be huge. A dedicated channel point system. This is so big. So viewers can redeem actions using channel points. I fucking don't understand why YouTube still has not implemented channel points. It's such a simple concept and an easy concept that they could add so that viewers who are at every stream, or if you're chatting a lot, or if you're subscribing or gifting members or super chats, you could get points and then use those points to redeem stuff. And if they did that, I could also then add all of the things I have right now on Twitch with StreamerBot onto YouTube. So, you know, all the stuff you guys redeem, like the you know, tip me please, you know, all those kind of things, that could all go to YouTube as well. Because right now they can't. There's no way to do it. It's just ridiculous. I wish YouTube allowed this. Yeah, the thrust. Exactly, dude. Exactly. I was literally just talking about this. Interactivity is so important. When I'm in a stream, I want to hit all the sounds and commands, and it's so fun. Why don't more platforms implement things like this? It's so weird to me. Agreed. 1,000,000%. And it's not like they have it copyrighted. It's not something that Twitch could sue over. Just name it something else. But it'd be so easy. Clips are honestly bad on both platforms, but at least can see all of them on Twitch. Yes. So that was my next thing, is make clips easier to view and share for everybody. Right now, clips can only be seen in a small section on the creator's platform or the creator's channel, but it's in a random order, doesn't show all the clips of the channel, and cannot be customized. So right now, only the YouTube creator can see all the clips, which I think is stupid. I want everybody to be able to see all the clips on my channel. It's really stupid that they're like hidden like that. What up, Ryan? Welcome in, dude. Nightmare, good to see you as well. And Double, welcome in. YouTube members should not get ads on the channel they support. This needs to be added. I don't know who we need to talk to or who YouTube needs to just, I don't know, fuck off, because their ads are getting worse every day. We know it. A lot of people I know use YouTube Red or YouTube Premium, whatever they call it now. I get that. But I'm sorry. If you're spending money as a subscription per month to a YouTube channel, that YouTube channel should not have ads, both for videos and for streams. You should not have ads if you're a member on YouTube. I will stand by that. I don't even care if they have to take a bigger portion, bro. Because right now YouTube takes 30%, where Twitch takes 50% of subs. So, you know, even if they had to take 40% of a membership, I would be okay with that if it allowed my supporters to not have ads. Because that it's just ridiculous that they still have to deal with ads. That is insane. I love that Twitch has added the ability to upload directly to outside platforms with the Clips Manager. Right. And I feel like all of them should have that, for real. Yeah, ads ruin the whole experience. They really do, man. Ability to add channel goals, such as member goals, super chat goals, sub goals, etc. These can be placed on the channel or at the top of the live chat during streams. That would be massive. I think that should definitely be a thing they could add. It doesn't have to be the first thing. I think the rest of these are more important, but that would be really helpful. Get rid, and this is the last one, get rid of the top chat option. It's so fucking annoying having to switch my live chat to all chat at the start of every goddamn stream. Just remove the option altogether, please. So yeah, like if I'm on my channel, this is another thing I should have added to the list, but I hate that the live stream isn't just playing right here. Like, yeah, I'm glad it does show that, hey, he is live, like here's the live stream, click on me, but it should just be the player, like it is on Twitch. Like if I go to Twitch, you can see it goes right to my stream, like I'm live right now. So it should be the same. It should be the exact same way with YouTube. I fucking hate that you can't watch the stream from my channel. I don't know why they haven't updated that. So yeah, that's kind of my whole thing. I just wanted to go over that with, you know, things that I think YouTube can improve on or needs to improve on for it to be an actual competitor to Twitch, because there is so many things that Twitch does better than YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong, Twitch is not perfect. Like, YouTube does things better than Twitch in a lot of ways. The biggest thing is the quality. I gotta admit, like the fact you can stream in 4K on YouTube and at like 50,000 bit rate is insane. For reference, if you guys don't know, the highest bit rate you can stream on Twitch is 6,000 kilobit. On YouTube, you can go like to 100,000. It's insane. Not only that, but you can go up to 4K on YouTube. The highest you can go on Twitch is 1440p, and that's still in beta. Like, I'm in a beta program. That's why I'm able to stream at that. But for most people, it's 1080p. So that's where like YouTube is way ahead in terms of like quality is huge, as well as being able to rewind the stream like while you're live is huge. Apparently Twitch is adding that as a feature, but only for subscribers only. Not sure why that's behind a paywall. That's stupid. But yeah, being able to rewind while live is huge. They need to just add that for everybody. Top chat, aka useless shit that makes modding even harder. Yeah, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, if I go to my YouTube stream real quick here, you can see this, like, there's a button up here at the top of the chat. And if you click on it, you can select between top chat, live chat, or fan funding, which I guess just shows like all the love from the night, I guess, in one spot, which that is nice. I like having that. But this doesn't need to be a thing. Just get rid of that. Just do live chat. Why does it have to be top chat? I don't know why that's a thing. So yeah, and there's all this empty space too. Like they could add so much stuff up here. Pinned comments should be up here. You can add, let's see. Oh, maybe they did add goals finally. Make a super chat more fun with a goal. Set a goal to engage with your audience in a new way. Once you reach your goal, celebrate with your community. This is actually new. I don't remember seeing this. Maybe they saw my thread and they added it last night. So they have a super chat goal. Okay. Well, at least they have something, but they need to add more goals. Like, I want to be able to do a membership goal, you know, or a sub goal, for instance, like subscribe today and you get like, I don't know, that'd be cool. So at least they have some type of goal. That is nice. But God, like the live chat thing is so gross. Like just get rid of the top chat live chat thing. That's just stupid. Hosting is super expensive. Plus YouTube is a loss leader for Google, while Twitch is a loss leader for Amazon. That is true. And I get that. You know, I understand that Twitch is still like losing profit. They're not making a whole lot of money. But that's why we're trying our hardest to give them ideas to make more money, to bring more streamers to your platform, to bring you more cash. But they just don't listen. Because everything they're doing with this stuff, with that TOS update, is sending people away. They're sending people packing. They're going to Kick. They're going to TikTok. They're going to wherever they else can stream. They're not streaming on Twitch anymore. And a lot of that just has to do with their decision making with their TOS. Because, you know, I'm willing to live with the fact that they take 50% of my revenue. I'm willing to live with the fact that. I'm willing to live with the fact that I can only stream in 14. Well, you know, before it was 1080p. Now I'm fine with 1440. But just for instance, like, I'm willing to live with the fact that I have to stream at a max bit rate of 6,000. That doesn't look nearly as good. I'm willing to live with the fact that, trying to think what else is a negative right now, that I'm supposedly not supposed to say certain words on stream, not like, you know, the bad words, but dumb ones like the SIMP. You can't say that. Or what's the other one? Virginia, but it's the other V one. You know what I'm saying? There's certain words you can't say, and apparently you get banned. So that kind of stuff, it's like I can live with that. I can live with those things, but I don't know. There's a lot of things lately that where it's really annoying, having to just watch your tongue at every moment, and I don't know. There needs to be another competitor, man. Make sure he's a comeback. Yeah, not allowed to thank your supporters. It blows my mind, man. A buddy of mine actually switched from TT to Twitch because he got live banned for not interacting with the stream. Wait, what the hell is TT? What is that? I didn't know you can't say that. Yeah, it's a TOS thing. I don't know if they actually will ban somebody for saying it, but it is in their TOS technically, so. Oh, TikTok. I've never seen it abbreviated like that before. If that makes sense. So a buddy of yours got banned on TikTok for not interacting with stream. What the hell was he doing? Twitch can ban and suspend streams in other languages when words are said that are very bad words in English, like delay in French. Oh, that's right. Yep, that's right. Freedom of speech, but you better watch what you say. I mean, to a degree, I get it, though, right? I do understand why there's certain things you can't say on Twitch, and same on YouTube. I get it, right? You don't want to just spewing hate speech all day. Like, that is fair. But there definitely is situations where you're just kind of like, you can watch the VOD, you know, or the clip or whatever. You can see that the person didn't mean it in that way. Why'd they get banned for saying that? You're like, you know, there's just certain situations like that where you're just like, the TOS doesn't make any sense. And also the biggest thing I think with the TOS is the problem with Twitch is the favoritism, the blatant favoritism. It's just there's so many situations where they'll ban somebody or suspend somebody for like a day, when it's something that should have been a permaban. But then somebody who has way less followers or way less subscribers will get a permaban for something way less severe. And you see that all the time. And you know damn well it's because that big streamer is bringing them in revenue. So they're willing to push the boundaries and like let them slide just because of that. And I think that's just so unfair. I can understand that if he was literally restreaming something or watching copyrighted shows, but otherwise that doesn't make any sense. Right, yeah. Freedom of speech isn't freedom of consequence. Yeah, yep. Yeah, he was playing Repo, and supposedly he wasn't interacting enough to the system banned him for 3 days. Wow, what the fuck? I've never heard of that yet with TikTok. I've heard that just streaming on TikTok in general is a headache and a half, but I haven't heard of that exact situation. There's standards for decency and such, but there's some silly shit they go after. 100%, yeah, 1,000,000%. That ban sounds like an AI babysitter system. It does. They didn't say anything to chat for 5 seconds. Banned. That is crazy. Maybe he got mass reported. You know, it could have been trolls that popped in and just mass reported him. I could see the TikTok audience being that way. Because, you know, you're just scrolling, right? And all of a sudden you get a live stream that you have no idea who this guy is. Just start mass reporting. I could see that happening. That's probably what happened. Then like an automated system banned him. Oh, gosh. All right. So last thing we're going to jump into here is retail hell stories. Trix was the one who came up with this idea. I think it'd be kind of interesting to talk about. Maybe you guys have some funny stories too, if you've worked in retail in your life. So if you didn't know, I used to work in retail for 10 plus years. That was basically all I did out of high school up until 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I finally left retail for the first time in my life, and I was able to work from home and actually work as a security, like online. Yeah, not gonna get into it, but it was different. It was just a way different experience, way different world, different culture, and I really enjoyed it compared to retail. So yeah, I've had some stories over the years. I was trying to think of like some really good ones, but to be honest, every single day was such a blur. Like looking back, like every single day was such a blur because it was like 90% of the interactions were negative from what I can recall. Like, yeah, you'll have like good customers every now and then that are genuinely nice people and they'll make your day a little better. But I would argue like 80 to 90% of interactions as a customer or as a retail worker were negative. And I wish I could say, you know, it's not the case for most people, but anybody I know who's worked retail can probably agree with me on that. I worked nice fast food, or as they call it, casual dining, for 6 years in a tourist trap city surrounded by bars on the night shift. I've seen some shit. Oh my God, I bet. Yeah, I feel like customer service representatives and bartenders probably have the craziest stories of like shitty customers. Retail is working in a convenience store, grocery, or supermarket for the most part, Pedro. Yeah, I don't even know what it is. Retail. Yeah. So retail literally is what Thumper just said. It's just working in convenience stores, customer service jobs, electronics. Basically where you're just walking around helping customers find stuff they need to buy. Drunk people at near closing time were the worst. I believe that. But yeah, so the first thing I wrote down here. Oh, speak of the devil, perfect timing for Trix to come in. We're doing retail hell stories based on your suggestion. Welcome in. Angel, welcome in as well. I worked in retail in Florida theme park. And yeah, it's not fun. I did it about 10 years. Jesus, really? Okay, 10 years? That's crazy, dude. Well, hey, I mean, if it paid the bills, that's awesome. I had a private investigator show up at my house a month after we moved to interview me about a customer getting himself knocked out in our lobby a year before. Wow, they had to call a PI for that? That's kind of wild. Well, hopefully that didn't, get you in trouble or anything. My God. But yeah, so the first thing I wrote down here was my first ever retail job was a cashier at Walmart when I was 17. And I was a cashier for about a year. And then when I turned 18, I got promoted to customer service manager. Now, if I would have known what that meant to be a customer service manager, I would have never taken the job. But the way they described it to me is, you no longer have to be a cashier. You get to walk around, you get double the pay, and you're full-time now instead of part-time. And that's all they told me before I said yes to the job. My favorite part of the day was after close when people yell at the closed doors saying that they'll never shop here again. You're like, good. That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm showing the door in your face. Oh man. But yeah, as a CSR, as a customer service manager, not CSR, CSM, customer service manager at Walmart. Basically, what you do is you run the whole front end. So you are the person conducting all of the cashiers, all of the customer service associates. You're making sure all the money is in the right place at the right time in the cashiers. You're watching self-checkout, and you're also dealing with any type of manager situation. So if a Karen is going crazy and they're asking for a manager, you're the person that they talk to. And then if needed, they can escalate it, and the next person in line is the store manager. And so yeah, there was a lot of times I was 18, you know, I was a kid right out of high school where there'd be a Karen flipping out at somebody at one of my cashiers for whatever dumbass reason. And they'd call me over and they'd be like, I want to see I want to see the manager. And I'm like, I am the manager. And they would just like, you know, they wouldn't take me seriously. They thought I was lying. And I'd be like, well, I mean, I could call the cops and get you out of here if you don't believe me. I can do what I want, man. So there was many times where we had to call cops to our local Walmart because of people on drugs or just like people freaking out and not leaving when I asked them to leave. Yeah, there was a lot of situations like that. Those were the most vivid memories I have working in retail, because I think it was the most like traumatizing memories because you know, like fresh out of high school and I was like managing an entire store basically because none of the higher end managers wanted to do anything, so they just make you deal with all the shitheads. So yeah, it was a very life-changing job, I would say. I was an assistant manager for GameStop for nearly 10 years. It was horrific. I can only imagine what GameStop would have been like. All through high school, I wanted to work at GameStop because I loved video games and I wanted to, you know, talk about games all day for work. But after I got out of high school, I remember I had friends that worked at GameStop and they just told me straight up, like, it's the worst company to work for because not only the pay is not that great, but the biggest issue was just the amount of like forcing credit card sales down kids' throats. And they literally meant children. Like there'd be 17-year-olds coming in to buy games and they'd be like, do you want to sign up for this credit card? It's just so predatory. It's so shitty. And there's nothing that the associate can do about it because they got written up if they didn't sell enough credit cards. I've never heard anyone have a good experience at GameStop. I hate when jobs made you do that shit. I try my best to never do it to people. Yeah, same. They even try to do that at Best Buy all the time. Yeah, we got written up if we didn't get enough Best Buy credit cards sold. But yeah, so that was customer service manager. I did that for a year and I cracked and gave up. I moved away. So I quit. And then I went to Target. When I worked at Target, I remember the job itself wasn't too bad because I was mostly in the back, like in the warehouse. Getting credit card debt at age 17. Yep. And from fucking GameStop of all places, Christian. Yeah. Welcome in. But yeah, I worked in the warehouse at Target and I had to restock like the fridges and stuff back there. And then sometimes I had to go out on the floor and restock the shelves. And that was the worst because every single time I was out on the floor, I would get customers asking me where shit was. And they were just going on like wild goose chases around the store looking for things. And the customer was never happy. They would always get pissed off. But we did have one boss that was just this like, think of like a stereotypical, just like a shit eating grin, like thinks really highly of himself. He dressed in a fucking suit every day. And he was like a manager, like a regular manager. He wasn't a store manager. He made probably $3 more an hour than I did. But this dude acted like he owned Target. And his name was DC, but we never ever were told what it stood for. Like that's all he would say, and that's what his name tag said. It was just DC. So we just called him Dick Cheese. We were just like, oh, Dick Cheese is coming. Like everybody act like you're working because he's gonna fucking freak out. And he would be the one that he would be pissed if you were not smiling. Like he was that guy, by the way. This is Target making $7 an hour, mind you, at the time. This was back in like 2014. So $7 an hour. And if he walked up to you and you were not smiling, he would write you up or like send you to the principal's office. It's basically just like the break room, but the store manager or the HR would talk with you. And yeah, it was really annoying. So I remember working there was just horrible. Oh, and here's a really funny story about that. So when I quit Target, I only worked there for like 7 months, I think. I wasn't there very long. I went to Best Buy from Target and I put in my 2 weeks because, you know, you got to put in a 2-week notice, even though they could fire you on the spot. They don't give you 2 weeks to get fired, but we're not going to get into that. So I gave my 2 weeks notice, right? And I showed up for my last 2 weeks, but I ended up missing my very last day, my very last shift. And granted, this is a place that had so many coworkers, like we had so many workers. We were never understaffed. We were fine. I didn't show up for my last day. And I think it was just because I was just done and I'm like, fuck it, you know, I'm not coming back here anyway. But I did end up like driving there a week later to hand them like my badge and stuff you were supposed to give back. I can't remember what it was, but I gave them my stuff back. And they said, okay, thank you for working with us. It was all good. Fast forward like 8 years, and this was in like 2018 or 2019. I think it was 2019. I was living back home in my like hometown, and I just wanted to get like a second job just to make a little extra money. So I went and applied at Target in my local town. And this is a different store, by the way, different Target. And I go in there for an interview, and it was for a manager position. And the girl's like, "You're super overqualified for this. Are you sure you want this job?" And then I was like, "Yeah, I just want extra money. I'm not looking to work full time." And she's like hiring me. It wasn't even an interview. Like I just walked in there and she gave me the job. She's like typing in all this stuff on the computer, and all of a sudden this big red text like pops up on her screen saying like, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it basically just said like this person is forbidden. I think the word was forbidden was the text. And she was like, "What the fuck?" Like that was her exact wordage. So it's like, "What the fuck?" And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Well, according to the computer, you are forbidden to ever work at Target again." I'm not even kidding you. That's what she said. And I was like, "Again? Like what? Like in my life, like I could never work at Target again?" And she said, "Well, that's what it says." And I like, "Does it have a description? Like, is there any like what I do?" And she said, I don't know. Like it doesn't say. It literally doesn't say why you were banned for life, but you can't ever work here again. And then her demeanor completely changed. Like she was like frightened. She thought I was a criminal or something. And I can understand. Like I don't blame her at all for this because she was really nice. And I felt so fucking bad. I felt so awkward because I was like, I genuinely don't know why I'd be banned for life. Because I even told her the whole story about like I never missed a day at work. I was fine. I just didn't show up for my very last day because I just was done with it. Because I was like, whatever. And I was like, do you really think they would have put me on a ban list because I didn't show up for my last day of work? And apparently they did. I guess Dick Cheese was that pissed off because he was my, he was like my shift manager, I guess. So he must have been that pissed off that he put me on a ban list so I could never work at Target again in my life. So that was fun. So yeah, that was super annoying, but that was Target, so don't ever work there. It's not worth it. Just got blacklisted. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I knew why. I honestly, thinking back, I wish I would have done something to actually get blacklisted, for a real reason, because it would have been worth it. But oh well. So yeah, then I went to Best Buy. The only thing I wrote down here was honesty guy. And the reason I wrote that is because I remember there was this dude when I was in computer sales. So if you guys don't know, if you work at Best Buy, if you're on the floor and you work sales, you do not make commission. A lot of people assume because of how hard Best Buy associates push for sales that you make commission. You don't, by the way. You just get written up if you don't sell enough. So they're just trying not to get fired. It is sad, but it is what it is. So I was like the top sales guy for maybe 5 months straight, I want to say, at my job. And the only reason I was a top salesman is because I didn't push sales. I didn't upsell anybody. I literally was just honest with people and would tell them like, yeah, that computer's overkill. Get this one. It's way better. It's cheaper. You're not doing anything but email. And people would buy more from me because of that. So I ended up being like the top sales guy. And I remember one guy came in and he was like he was in a really nice suit. He was just one of those dudes that like, he just flaunts money, even if maybe he doesn't have money. He just likes to believe he does. And he came into Best Buy to the computer section. He was like looking for a desktop computer for his son, I think for like a gaming computer or something. And I don't remember exactly the conversation, but I just said, honestly, I think you should go with this one instead. And he looks at me and he said, why did you say honestly? Were you not honest with me the entire time up until this point? And he was dead serious. Like I thought at first he was joking, but he like looked me dead in the eye and said that. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, why would I not be? He was like, well, I mean, you're a salesman. Are you trying to sell me something that I don't need? Are you lying to me? And I'm like, No, I mean, I just said honestly because it's like a it's like a word, I guess, like it's a saying, like people just say that. And he just didn't believe me. He just thought like I let like something slip, I guess. Like he thought he caught me in the act. And so he went to my manager and he was like, I'm never gonna shop here again. I don't shop at places where people lie to me and like where I'm just getting upselled and I'm like he made this whole scene for like no reason. And it was, you're trying to save me money? I think he genuinely got, I think that's what it was, Thumper, like no joke. Because I talked to my manager after this because my manager did not understand what the guy was saying. And I said, I genuinely believe I offended him because I was trying to sell him on a cheaper computer. Like he was looking at I remember he specifically said, I want the most expensive computer you can buy because I want to play every game. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I mean, you can buy this one that's $5,000 or for $1,000, it can do the exact same thing. The only difference is like I remember like the case was smaller or something like that. But it was relatively the same. Oh, it was AMD. That's what it was. The most expensive one was Intel, but then there was an AMD one that was the same performance, but way cheaper. And so I was trying to tell him that. I was just like, honestly, this is a better deal. And because I was trying to sell him a cheaper computer to make him, or, to save him money, he got offended, I believe. And he took it out on he just stuck to the point that I said, honestly, you don't believe that I am rich? If he would have said it to my face, it would not have surprised me. I'm not even kidding. I believe to this day, that's what set him off and offended him. But I'm like, bro, you went to a Best Buy of all places. Like if you really had a lot of money and you wanted to buy the biggest, best thing ever, I mean, you could just go to Micro Center, I guess, or there's probably some other computer store that would rip you off, I guess. Take your money, I don't care. But that was the weirdest experience, too, because it left me more laughing than anything. I wasn't offended. I wasn't pissed. It just made me laugh. I was like, that was the weirdest shit. Wackos like that are why your average Joes have so much anxiety after everything they do all the time. Yeah. Yep. 1,000,000%. GameStop used to give $5 commissions for every pro card sale, and they just stopped. But then made us all sell that stupid card even harder. That's what Best Buy does. They don't give you any commission. They just tell you you have to sell this many units. Ridiculous. Are you trying to make me not waste my money? How fucking dare you? That sounds like my ex. I'm self-employed now, but I still have to keep a good relationship with whatever company I work for. It works fine, but it's annoying sometimes. I've given a store salesman I know you're told to sell me something particular, but what would you buy? Yeah, and like, I don't know. I don't really get too flustered with salesmen because I get it. It's just their job. But if I do ask a salesman for their legitimate, like don't upsell me anything. I've already done my research. Can you give me the honest truth? And if they still try to sell me, then I'm going to walk away. But normally they turn into real humans at that point and they're cool. I remember having a Karen screaming at me because our store had automatic toilets and they scared her kid. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh man. I want to shit on the ground in peace. Let's see. Oh yeah. So I went from Best Buy salesman to Best Buy customer service. And then I went to customer service to Geek Squad. Yes, I worked at Geek Squad. Haha, very funny. I was only there for literally a month, by the way, and then I quit. But needless to say, Geek Squad is not at all what it's cracked up to be. I thought going into it when I took the position, yes, it was a pay raise, which was awesome. But I thought, okay, I'm just going to be fixing computers, which is great. I love doing that. I love building computers. I love fixing people's problems. I don't mind doing that stuff. No, you are just a glorified salesman. And let me tell you why. They don't train you at all. They send you, I'm not even shitting you, when you become a Geek Squad member, for 5 days straight, Monday through Friday, they send you to Geek Squad or to Best Buy headquarters in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thankfully, I'm from Minnesota, so I drove there every day. But most people had to fly in and stay there for a week. So they ship you to headquarters for a week to get taught how to become a Geek Squad salesman. No, they don't train you how to fix computers. They don't train you how to install antivirus. They don't train you how to do anything with computers. You're just supposed to know that or do your own, research out of work. What they do train you on is how to upsell Geek Squad services to old people. And no, I'm not kidding. That's literally what they tell you for 5 days straight. Is they try to get old people to come to you to believe in you that you're going to fix their problem. But actually what you end up doing is you have to sell them their Geek Squad service, which is like $200 a year, just to have them look at your computer. And by the way, I had so many people come in that would just need like a woman came in with her phone and she's like, hey, how do I install an app on my phone? And I'm like, okay, yeah, let me see it. Let me install it. I got written up for that. You can only get 3 write-ups and you're fired. I got written up because I downloaded an app for her phone without selling her a Geek Squad subscription. I was supposed to charge her $150 for that. I'm not even joking. That's what they want. So they teach you that, and then not only do you not learn how to fix computers or anything, but 99% of the computers that Best Buy takes in, like if you bring your PC to Best Buy and you're like, hey, I have a problem, I have a virus, whatever, and they hold it for you, they'll say it takes a couple days. They are not holding it for you. They ship it out overseas. I'm not even kidding. They ship it out and it gets sent somewhere. I don't fucking know, but it goes somewhere overseas. And these other people that they pay pennies probably, they fix up your computer. And sometimes they don't even fix it. They just look at it and send it back. But that's what your $150 are paying for. It's not for us to fix it. Well, I say us, but not me anymore. But when I worked there, it wasn't for me to fix it. It was for someone overseas to fix it. So yeah, slave labor, basically. And when I found that out, when I realized that, you probably can understand why I only lasted a month and I quit. I was like, yep, I'm not doing this anymore. Because I wanted to help people. I liked helping people. I literally had a line of these like old ladies that would come back every day with their phones or their laptops wanting me to fix it. And it was genuine questions. Like they actually had problems. And I would fix it. I would help them with their issues. But then my boss would get pissed off because he's like, why aren't you selling them? Why aren't you charging them $150 for Geek Squad services? And I'm like, this is shit that I'm fixing in 5 minutes. Like we have no customers. Nothing's happening right now. Why do I have to charge them money for something I can fix in 5 minutes? What's the point of that? And he said, well, they're just going to keep coming back. I'm like, I don't care. They can wait in line. And they did. There were sometimes we had lines of people, but like they would wait. They weren't mad. And they would take 5 minutes. So who are we hurting? And I got written up for that. So yeah, I ended up just leaving. I was like, I'm not dealing with that. And I hope to God, this was back in 2016, I think. So I hope to God since then they've changed, but I doubt it. I think they even went bankrupt or something, if I remember right. You're hurting their bottom line. What's the shortest amount of time you lasted at a job? That was it. Yeah, easily that was my shortest job, was a month. Every other job I've ever worked at was at least 8 months. Yeah, because like before that, Target would have been my shortest. That was 8 months, I think. And then Apple Retail would have been my other shortest. That was 9 or 10 months. It was almost a year. And yeah, Apple Retail is my last one that I have here. So if you guys didn't know, I used to work for Apple, just the retail store, not like the actual corporate or nothing. But I just worked at like the Genius bar. So fucking pretentious. But yeah, the big table at the end of the store. So if you had an issue with your iPhone, your iMac or whatever, they'd bring it to you and you had to fix it. And the thing with that is, I actually did prefer that work because I went from Best Buy to that. So I went from Geek Squad to doing that. And I preferred it because we actually did help people's phones. Like we did fix their problems, which was great. But the biggest issue was just that like, I'm not an Apple person. I've never owned Apple products. I refuse to buy them because I just don't have the money for it, for one. And two, I don't like their software. So even while I was working at Apple for almost an entire year, I never had an iPhone. I always had Android. I remember they always called me the Android guy because I refused to buy it. And I remember in my interview, like when I was trying to get the job, I asked the guy who ended up being my store manager, I was like, do you force your employees to like buy Apple products? Just out of curiosity, like, do I need to have an iPhone? And he was like, no, you're good. You don't need an iPhone. And if they were truthful, I respect them. They were true. I never had to buy an iPhone, never had to buy Apple products. It was awesome. So I respect them for that. Honestly, they could have fucking kicked me out just because I didn't do that. but I was the only employee out of like 500 employees, I think, that had an Android phone. Yeah, we had like 500 employees in that little store, and I was the only one that did not have an iPhone. I'm an Android guy, stand up. Yeah, baby. And I'm not like, I'm not totally one side or the other. I've talked about this before. I've owned iPhones since then, but I just only could have it for like a few months, and I hated it. I wanted to go back to Android. It's just what I feel comfortable with. So when I worked there, I remember so many people would get like customers would come in, and I'd be working on their iPhone, and they'd be like, "Oh, what phone do you have? Like, are you working on or do you have the same problem?" And I'm like, "No, I have a Samsung." And they're just like, they're like, "What the fuck? How do you know what you're doing when you own an iPhone? You don't even own an iPhone." And I'd be like, "I just look stuff up, bro. Like, they didn't really teach you anything there. They taught you a little bit of how to fix certain things, but most of it was like, you have to train on your own time, look up stuff at home, how to fix certain things." But it was pretty simple, rudimentary shit. I mean, like, swapping out SIM cards and resetting phones, clearing cache, super simple. Nothing really too crazy. Mr. Vicarious, my phone is not letting me install any Twink Boron. Yeah, we actually had people like that. I'm not even kidding. Not to that extreme, but we had people that would come in and be like, so I downloaded this thing and my phone's not working great anymore. And I'm like, "What did you download?" And they would like hand me the phone, and it was like straight up like, yeah, you could imagine. What's up, Sway? Welcome in. Hope you're having a good night, man. And yeah, these people, like, when they did it, they had no, like, they weren't nervous. They had no like facial expressions. They just were like, "Yep, here you go, man. Fix it, please." It just blew my mind, bro. I'd be sweating, like anxious, like, what the fuck? Sir, yeah, sir, what is this? Yeah, I'm into this, as they had you with their phone. I mean, that's kind of what happened. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah. Had you a dirty phone. Oh god. Yo, what up, Sala? I learned PC building a long time ago from a friend, and ever since I refused to buy from Best Buy in general. It makes sense how you got here, though. A lot of your work history involves talking to people in some way. Yes. No, I've always been a very social person, and I like to say that Apple retail was the reason why I became more of a recluse, like more of a invert, or what's the word? Not extroverted, but whatever the other one is. I'm having a mind blank. But introverted. But like, I became more introverted after working at Apple retail, because if you've never been to an Apple store before, if you're not an Apple person, the reason I became an introvert is because every single day for 8 hours straight, there was at least probably 600 customers at any given time, 24/7. Well, as long as the place was open. So you would walk out from the break room, like, I'd open the door and like walk into the store, and there would be people like so close together that you're like walking through like that. I'm not even kidding you. Every single day, every day. So yeah, I had like panic attacks working there. Like, not while I was working, it was when I got home. But I remember like not knowing what a panic attack was until I worked there. I never felt that before. And it was literally just because of the thought of like, at any moment, like 100 people are just looking at you or like around you and like touching your personal space, and fucking hated it. I hated it, man. And there was people I knew that worked there for 15 years. Like, they were there for so long. And I couldn't believe that. I'm like, how could you do this day in and day out for so many years? I would hate people. I legitimately started to hate human contact. I hated people. So yeah, I blame them. I don't blame Apple themselves. I don't blame my coworkers. I don't blame my managers. The place was great to work for. Like, that was not my problem. But it's just that many people in a confined small space every single day for 8 hours straight. Yeah, I gave up. I couldn't do it anymore. Too many people, shit gets overwhelming, right? I work alone and I hate people. I get that, dude. I'm with you. Like, I don't like hate people, but because of that, and I think also working in retail in general for 10 years straight, it really gave me a different outlook on like most people, I guess, if that makes sense. And I became more introverted for sure. So I prefer this kind of format. And don't get me wrong, I love you guys, and I think I would hang out with any of you guys in person. But it is a lot easier to just talk to a camera and a microphone and be more open than it is if I was like at a local Walmart or some shit. Like going up to somebody I don't know and speaking to them it gives me more anxiety than it ever has, and I never had that before working there. So that's why I like to think that's kind of where it all started for me, is where a lot of that anxiety came from, of like just being like in big social places with a lot of people I don't know. I'm a very introverted guy, so I had to know if I'm the problem or is the place. And it's hard to say unless you can get out of the place page, or like and see if you can open up more. Like if you're in a new environment you've never been before, does that help? And if it doesn't help, then maybe it is you, right? It's something that happened to you or whatever the case may be. I go for delivery jobs, preferably my own vehicle, so I can be my own boss in a way. It's got some trade-offs for sure. Oh yeah, and then, it's just nice being your own boss. Making your own hours or your own places, whatever you. It's kind of like DoorDash or Grubhub. I always thought that'd be kind of a fun job because you pick and choose where you want to go and like how long you want to work and stuff like that. But you run the risk of going to some shady places or ruining your vehicle. So it is what it is. There's always pluses and minuses, whatever you do. I did check-ins at a private theme park dealing with 10 guests at a time. This is when I found out what panic attacks were. I 100% can understand that, especially working at a theme park, dude. That'd be just as crazy, if not more. So I respect that. Yeah. I used to think I was a social butterfly. Then I quit drinking. Turns out I'm too an introvert. Yeah, I'm with you, Sway. When I drink, I definitely become more open. I definitely say a lot more off the top of my tongue, like a lot more just going on, and I don't have a filter as much. So yeah, I'm with you there. What up, gentlemen? Trout, welcome in. Jenna Ortega or Sydney Sweeney? Jenna Ortega. I feel like Sydney Sweeney is just like too stereotypical, if that makes sense. Like, I'm pretty sure she's a nice person, but Jenna seems more interesting. My favorite part of being a trucker is the solitude. I do my own thing by myself. As long as I made it where I needed to go, didn't hear a word from anybody about anything. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, I think my brother's a trucker too, so I get it. Yeah, I don't know, like truck driving or being a truck driver, like going, because I'm assuming, JD, you've gone months before, maybe. Have you gone like a whole month before on a solid work drive for your truck? I don't know, I'm probably not explaining that right. My brother has done that before, where he's gone like a whole month, like across the country driving a truck. I'm like, I don't even know. I don't think I could do that. Being away for a whole month. That's just, scary. I'd usually be out 3 to 4 months, home for 2 to 3 weeks. Oh my God. See, that's amazing. Like, I respect the fuck out of that, because that's a lot of perseverance and like a lot of, being away from home for that long. And, that's amazing, man. You guys are the backbones of the country. 100%. I stopped doing DoorDash in my area as well for some reason. Same reasons. Yeah, I get that. I mean, the cost of vehicles, insane. Repairing those vehicles, insane. Tires, gas. And then, of course, if you drop it off at shady houses that could rob you, or I don't know. That always scared me. Even being like, if you're a pizza delivery guy, pizza boy, delivering pizzas to someone's house, it's always been a scary thought of like they could rob you or, crazy stuff. I always get the feeling, are they listening to me, or is just staring at me like something came from under their bed? Look, when I talk to people, I'm with you, Double D. I am one of those people that always am overthinking of like what people are thinking about me, even though the truth is 99.9% of people don't give a fuck. When because if I have to think about it from my own perspective, if I'm out and about, I'm only worrying about myself and like what people think about me. But then I realize, but I'm not giving a shit about anybody around me, and they're all probably the same. Everyone here probably feels the exact same way I do right now about themselves. So that really does help if you think of it that way. But there's always that lingering anxiety for sure. Didn't they up the tax on doing that stuff like DoorDash? They probably did. I don't know though. I haven't heard anything about it, but I'm sure they probably did. Grinding hard to try and make stacks while I can. I came in handy this year for my health stuff. Oh, I bet, dude. Burn all my savings. The last 6 months without worries is something I never expected. I'm very thankful that you're better though, like medically and all that stuff. I hope you're feeling better, dude. I'm so sorry that you had to go through all your savings though for that. I mean, that's the American healthcare. Yeah, we're not going to get political here, but you guys know. I mean, healthcare is a joke, and insurance is a joke. It's just, I feel you, man. I'm so sorry. I'm glad you're feeling better though. Hey, Rattlehead, how are you doing? Welcome in. No one hates me more than I do. That I need that on a shirt. I need that on a shirt right now. Oh man. What up, Brody? Welcome in. I think about every bad thing you've ever done, Nick. I mean, that's how it feels. The David Cross just zooming in. That's how it feels. Just like looking at people I don't know. Worst thing about theme parks are the hours. Sometimes they'll be working until 2 a.m. and your next shift is in 4 hours. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember those nights though. I do. You know, you don't want to wake up the next morning to go to work. And I always say this, if you genuinely are working in a place like that where you don't want to wake up the next morning to go to work, maybe that place is not for you. There's got to be something better. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow, but you know, maybe start looking for something better. You might enjoy it.
Yeah, no kidding. I've been waiting to see the doctor for years. I'm dead now, and I'm still waiting for another 2 years. What the fuck, bruh?
Accurate. That sounds like Canadian healthcare. I always hear from my Canadian friends like how long it takes to get into the hospital. That's just insane. I mean, it's still pretty bad here. I'm not gonna lie. It still takes a long time to get surgeries and stuff, but yeah. I've got about, I think, 4 more months of doctor stuff to deal with, but it's all smooth sailing from here. Good. Then I can finally go back to work once my body is ready again. That's awesome, man. That's huge. Let's get some round of applause for JD for getting through his health scares, because that is scary. And you know, I'm still sorry about all the, you know, the savings being drained for that, but I'm just glad you're healthy, and that's what matters. So yeah, keep kicking ass, dude. Woo, quit my job, dog. Like I said, unless it's like actually interfering with mental health, you know, and mental health is very important. Try to just find something new. Quitting my job to gamble based. Oh man, holy shit, we've been going 2 hours. This episode flew fucking by, guys. This was so, wow. Episode 1 was a trial. This felt like a genuine connection. I felt like we had some good conversations. It was a lot of fun. But I'm gonna have to probably cut it off here because I don't want these episodes to go on for hours and hours. They're only gonna be about 2 hours episodes. But yeah, this went by really fast. Thank you, Dwelling. A reminder, if you missed the beginning of the episode, next weekend, next Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard, we're going to be interviewing Mr. Jim Buck. Jim Backbreaking Buck from 99 Studios. I'm that excited too. He worked on Twist Metal 3 and 4, a lot of other games. If you want to be here for that, it's going to be a great time. I'm going to be asking him a lot of questions. And then, of course, he'll be answering questions from the chat. So whoever is here for that should be a good time. And I think it will be a longer episode too, because it's going to be my first interview on the show. So I hope to see you guys here for that. Should be a good time. He's a really nice dude. A lot of fun to talk with. So yeah, be very interested to see how that goes. Can't wait. Yes. And genuinely, thank you everybody for coming through, for hanging out. It was a good time. And thank you all, everybody who's new. We had a couple new followers tonight. And I saw some new people in chat. Sway, thank you for being here, my man. And,
His name is Jim Buck, and he likes to fuck.
It's true. Rattlehead, thank you for the 100 biddies, and thank you all for the love tonight with the biddies and the subs and the members on the YouTube side. And yeah, appreciate you all so much. Yes, Jim Buck will be here next Saturday, everybody. He'll be on the stream. But yeah, we're going to be editing it here. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. We'll be back on Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, back to our regular scheduled programming with some games. And hope to see you all there. Keep it twisted, everybody. Much love.